Welcome to How to Yu-Gi-Oh!
Let's explain Phara, the goddess of beginning.
Chapter 1.
In this video, I'm going to talk about Phara, the goddess of beginning, how this card is going to be coming out soon, and the implications that it has for Yu-Gi-Oh! Going forward. With that being said, let's get on with the rest of the video.
Chapter 2.
Okay, before we talk about Phara, let's read her effect. You can reveal this card, and one spell or / trap card in your hand. Neither player can activate cards or effects in response to the card or effect activation of a card with the same name as a revealed spell / trap card until the end of the next turn. If this card is sent from the hand or field to the graveyard by a spell / trap effect, you can special summon this card. If this card is summoned from the graveyard, you can take control of the one monster your opponent controls with the highest attack. Your choice if tied. You can only use each effect of Phara, the goddess of the beginning, once per turn. Now, when I look at this card, I think about the implications that this card has on the game upon its release. First of all, obviously, there's the obvious branded fusion usage that we can see with this card. But this card adds another layer to decks. This card basically adds a protective barrier to all archetypal spells and traps in decks that are key to that deck going through. This is essentially like a hand trap blocker or a negate blocker for all those things, as it just reveals itself and the spell or trap card in question that you need to activate on that turn, and you can activate it straight away, obviously on that turn, without any problems. Sure, there's the taking control, there's then the taking control effect, which happens later, which is an additional ability, but that first and primary effect of just allowing your effects to go through is absolutely pivotal to what Phara, the goddess of the beginning, allows to take place. And I think this is a card here that has very strong implications for Yu-Gi-Oh's future. And what I want to say is that this is a card where I think would really render hand traps kind of useless. This could also render as well cards such as Dominus Impulse also useless. All the Dominus cards would be useless. Because usually Call by the Grave can only deal with, as we know, monsters. But this, can deal with spells or traps. When we think about this in the mirror match, when we think about this card in the mirror match, it's absolutely insane, as it could be used offensively and defensively, as this could stop the opponent's key spell, as it could just reveal it, right? There's so many implications. So much things if this is used correctly. Sure, it can't stop the opponent, but when we think about what this card can do, when we think about you think about its implication. Sure, it can be used aggressively. It could be also used defensively by negating a key counter trap. Let's say that their card, for example, that they have there is Solemn Report. So you could reveal your own Solemn Report, so you can negate their Solemn Report. I mean, there's just so many implications. Or the amount of back and forth gameplay, the amount of implications that this card potentially just exhibits with its broad language and broad usage renders that Phara is a very, very powerful card and with wide applications and wide usage. And definitely is a card that we will need to look out for and can be, honestly, a standout card of 2026. I can definitely see this card entering the top 10 cards of 2026 for sure, especially for monsters. This is really has loads of implications. Now, the question isn't how this card will be used. The question is where and why it'll be used and what sort of decks are we going to see this card being. As obviously we have strong inclination to believe that we'll already see this in branded, but I feel we can see this in all manners of decks. I feel the potential is very high for the abuse and the ways that this card can be used. I think that's all I've got to say. Let's head on to the conclusion.
Final chapter.
So here I am at the conclusion. And what I've got to say is that I think Phara, the goddess of beginning, has a lot of potential in Yu-Gi-Oh! And I think it's a card that we can see go the distance and go very far. Its simple effect and its follow-up effect are extremely useful. The implications of getting, archetypal spells or traps, being able to successfully activate it without being negated is pretty good. And while it also has the implication of making going first slightly stronger and rendering hand traps that are spell or traps completely pointless, because it just allows your key archetypal spells or traps to just successfully go through. So definitely it feels to be a card that we would add in our archetypes. It feels like a 3 of you add in all archetypes in the game, just to allow your cards to go through unimpeded, uninterrupted. So definitely it looks to warp deck building in the future, and definitely this is a card I can see being an ultimate 3 of for all decks. How it's going to implicate deck building, what it's going to do about deck building, we're going to see that in the future. But overall, this is a fantastic card, great card, and it is yet to see how this will implicate deck building and future deck use in the foreseeable future. With that being said, I'd like to say that that's all I've got to say in this video. And tune in next time as I talk about more things on this channel. Hope to see you soon.
We come to the end of this video. So, as I like to say, you are one step closer to becoming a Yu-Gi-Oh! Master. My fate, right, is in your hands.